It's sad, but there's a lot of people, a lot of families who have a similar story to myself. Drug addiction, criminal history, lack of income, credit history is in the toilet, they don't have bank accounts, or they don't know how to clean, they don't know how to keep a clean home. I've struggled with all of those. So based off of our story, our own struggle and how we overcame our struggle, is how I'm able to help other people, because I get it. I'm Monique Patterson. I'm the executive director and co-founder of Next Chapter Foundation. Next Chapter was born in 2018. 2018 is also the year my family experienced homelessness. We experienced homelessness because our house sold. We were given about a 3-week time frame from the time it went on the market till the time that it sold, for us to relocate. During the time my husband was recovering from surgery, so we were down to one income. We have 9 children, 6 boys and 3 girls, and we couldn't find housing fast enough within that time frame that we can afford, since we only had one income. So we slept in our cars for about 3 months before we were accepted into shelter with Catholic Community Services. And so in that program, we went from church to church, different churches throughout the community. We were able to stay there a week at a time. There was a time limit. We had to be in by 5:30 p.m. and we had to be out by 7:30 a.m. every single morning. So to keep our family's life as normal as possible, we would always leave around 5 a.m., go to the Y and take their showers, pretend to work out, get them ready for school, and get them off on the bus, take the littles to daycare, and then my husband and I would look for housing or come up with a plan on how we're going to get out the situation. So we started our own business during that time. I did a lot of research on how to fix our credit, how to write letters to credit bureaus and creditors, et cetera, et cetera. He started driving for Uber and Lyft to bring in more income. So we fixed our credit, we saved some money. We were blessed enough to make friends while we were traveling from church to church, and we came across Kathryn Hedrick, she was running the shelter program at St. Pat's Church. Our sons became best friends. I call them Salt and Pepper. They act like they've known each other for their whole life, and it really was only a month.
So I got to know Mo. She was one of the most incredible families that I've ever met my whole entire life. They have 2 kids who have sickle cell disease, and they would have to leave in the middle of the night. And another thing, part of that program was you'd have to have overnight hosts, so somebody who would stay there. So my kids and I would stay, and we'd pretty much stay there the whole entire time.
So my family and I we found a house, a 5-bedroom, 3-bath house in Puyallup in April of 2018. We moved in. Kathryn helped us move in. It was great.
And it was funny because right after we signed the lease, we drove down to Olympia because the governor was signing a bill that dealt with discrimination based on your source of income. And that was a bill that I had worked on, and Monique kind of inspired me on that bill as well. Monique and I just became friends, and we started talking about things that we saw that were missing in the system. Like, you have case managers who have 20 families they're trying to take care of, and they're underpaid, and there's just a lot of stress, and there are just things that Monique ended up having to navigate on her own, and she did it amazingly.
So because we became close, We talked about, well, what if we started our own nonprofit? How would it be different? How can we change the world?
Okay, so all of our mothers are on a strict budget with income and food. So we like to help with that. We like to stock our shelves. We have generous donors throughout our community that provide additional non-perishable food items that we will keep on in our pantry. We have anything from food to toiletries, sanitary napkins, gloves, socks, because they always get eaten by the dryer, seems like, any and everything. So if we do have clients that come in that do not have any income or food benefits, then they're still able to feed their family while they wait on additional income to come in. We want to make this process less stressful as possible, but we also want to hold all of our families accountable because once they leave us, they are fully responsible for their families, and so we teach them new tools and tricks on being able to survive on their own.
Everyone's history is different. We start with the basis, so we pull their credit report, their criminal history, their education, their employment history, and then their housing history. Based off of all of those reports is how we build their file. And we start work immediately on all of the derogatory marks that's affecting them moving forward.
The biggest impact I see Next Chapter having is, and what sets us apart, I believe, from other shelter programs, is that we really drill down on the credit. It's amazing how your credit score can impact your whole life.
And what I don't want to do is bring families in and take all of their money. That's not going to do anything. It's not going to teach them anything, and they'll never leave Next Chapter. So we build a budget based off of their monthly income. If they're able to work, well, let's look at a career move, or let's look at starting school or something to help you. But we absolutely focus on their past in order to fix their future. The last component that we work on is finding a house. If we can't maintain everything else, then there's no way they'll be able to maintain their house. So that's absolutely last. That's not the first thing we look at. And so we have a couple families who's successful in applying for a home loan, from homelessness to a home loan.
So really focusing in on the credit and really focusing in on financial literacy and helping these women understand and the importance of it and understand their role in their life and how they can control that, and they can make it better, they can work on it. That gives them a sense of empowerment.
I moved here from California 3 years ago, and I moved here with my now ex-husband, and I was pregnant at the time, and he Well, we moved up here, but he had a drug problem and he was really abusive. So I was trying to clean houses in order to stay at the hotel because at that time I was like, I didn't have nowhere to go because I basically gave up my house where I was staying with my son to give him a chance. So then eventually I was down to like my last $100 where there was only one option was to sleep in my car out there. So I contacted Monique and I filled out my application and then I met up with her at Starbucks and I think we just clicked since then.
Every day she's like, what can I do now? What do I do now? And her credit score was like 300 and it's like in the 700s. She's one of the moms who applied for their first home loan. She has a cleaning business, saved a ton of money, like paid off things, and she's like, I don't want her to leave, but I know she has to leave.
I feel like it's too good to be true sometimes, like a lot of things that have happened. Like also like being in this program, I got my high school diploma. Like I just turned 31 last week and I left school a long time ago when I was like 16. She helped me get my business license. She helped me do my business cards. She helped me do a lot of business stuff that I've never done before. Like, so my whole business is legit for my cleaning stuff. Like Monique, she has like a really loving heart. So does everyone in Next Chapter, all of the people that are part of it. Like they're really loving and they really care about their clients that they help. Next Chapter is basically my blessing. Like I'm forever grateful that I met her and forever grateful that I got to be in this program. And anybody that has had the chance to come into this program is really lucky, honestly.
We were originally working on and campaigning to purchase the old Morgan Motel on Pacific Avenue. It has a long history of drug abuse, prostitution, anything you name it. And it had been condemned by the city a couple years ago. The current owner at that time went to prison. And so that motel was up for sale again. I have a ton of bunk beds coming every single day of this week. And furniture, and it's being decorated. Like all of our rooms will look like a little home, so that all of our families are comfortable. And but not too comfortable. Comfortable enough to want to stay, but not too comfortable to where they don't want to leave. So I'm excited to bring those families in and to finalize this next step or next chapter in next chapter's life, because it's a huge one.
There's 3 bedrooms in this house with 2.5 baths, and then we have 8 units that we will house our families in. So we are able to accommodate 10 families on this property.
I said that, you know, it's a communal environment where people aren't alone. They feel like they've got each other, and that was one of the things we learned when we worked together previously, was that instead of like the shelter mode where you have cots and partitions up, when we were in a house and we were able to see how that just changed the whole environment, and people just felt it was just more real and warm and just a more authentic feeling, and you hold each other accountable, and you have people to lean on in hard times who are going through the same things as you.
It has been a really educational experience because when I first came into the program, I was pretty much lost, you know, and working with her has helped me build my self-esteem. I mean, she's a phenomenal woman. She knows her stuff. I mean, she's willing to put forth the effort to help people as long as they put forth the effort to help themselves. It's not like she just throws it at you. She slowly pulls you into the different mechanics of, you know, rebuilding your credit, or, you know, overcoming homelessness and the barriers that are out there. Because I was evicted from my home in 2018, and after that I went from place to place to place to place, and this is the first time since then that I have had a stable place. So I want to be able to give back to the program because it's given me hope and looking at a brighter future.
So I'm a one-man crew. Like I have my board, and I love all of them. But as far as the executive work plus running the program, it's just me. Because we're so new, like we don't have $1 million in the bank. We don't have that history. So all of our donations are private. So we're just now getting our name out there. So I'm hopeful with all of our expansion that I'll be able to hire fairly soon, because I can't, like, it's time to teach someone else all the knowledge, so I can focus on growth, continued growth. I'm hopeful that we set the trend, and that other organizations will hop on our train and start doing a lot of the same things we do and go in depth and help these families completely out of homelessness instead of just stabilizing or triaging them for a little bit.
It takes a village for a child, and it takes a whole army for families. So we have a lot of partnerships. I talk to everyone. Kathryn talks to a ton of people, because we just don't want to stand alone. We want the entire community to be involved with Next Chapter, to give these mothers the best possible outcome.
I think it would be beautiful if we could have a community where they continue to be together and support each other, and that I think would be my dream. And then they go on to home ownership, because it is possible. And I just think that they don't realize that when they come into our program, but it is possible. And that's the ultimate dream. It's their own home, and to see their kids grow up and be thriving and successful and have opportunity is another dream, because what we see, especially with Black and brown populations, is that they don't have opportunity.
I have big dreams for the future, and I'm pretty confident that I can succeed at it, because I made it this far. Like, I have no help except from Monique helping me since I got here, and I feel like she just gave me wings. Now I feel like I'm at peace, and next chapter has brought me that peace, and I just want to be a good mom and show my kids that I am doing this for them, really.
After next chapter, I'd like to own my own home. I see myself being able to help people like how Mo is helping people, and just, you know, making the community better.
And we're on a ride together. You know, it's never like you think it's gonna be. It's constantly changing. And this is what happens with the mothers and families that we serve. I mean, they're constantly getting hit with one crisis after another. And, you know, next chapter has gone through that in our own way. It's an obstacle that, you know, comes up, and we just keep going forward. You just change course or figure it out, but you've got to be able to get through it, because we've got to show our moms that's how you do it. You just keep your head up and keep going.
We're beyond blessed and happy and humbled by all the support that we have for just the thought that her and I shared over coffee.
We're just two moms that came together and said, hey, this is what we think is missing. And this is what we think we can do to make fill a gap that's missing. And so, in helping those who are kind of in the middle, who don't qualify for resources, and you know, let's help other moms. We know how hard it is, and we just want to do our best to, you know, do what we can to make a difference. And two moms coming together. Yeah.
Come on.
Mom, do you get paid for this?
No, you don't get paid for this.
Why?
It's called community service.
Okay. Everybody does. You have to earn money, Brendan. And that's exactly what we're doing.
No, you're doing community service for your mom because you love her. Okay?
That's what you
You guess?